Hey besties, let's throw some shade, honey. You ready to get into it? Why is Katie digging up dirt on everybody? Well, everybody meaning Tamara. But the dirt she dug up, we're talking about stuff that happened years ago. Like Gretchen is behind this. She's the engine behind this force. It's very clear. Why does any of this matter in 2025? What is going on? Why is there's no other storylines? Why does this little piece of information even matter? Like, you went to a party, you feel like you got, you drunk something that was spiked. You went to the hospital. Okay, you're blaming it on Tamara. Okay, you guys got other stuff that you're beefing about too. Like, why is this gonna be the storyline and the drive for this season? Like, come on, y'all. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Ooh, it's gonna be a long season, child. But welcome, besties. You are now behind the shade, and thanks for joining me. I recap your favorite reality shows weekly. Now, baby, let's kiki and ha ha and get into another episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County. It's season 19, episode 7. The truth will not set you free. Now, besties, drop down in the comments and let me know how you would rate this week's episode. Yeah, I'll just we gonna keep talking about this naked party. Like, come on, it's so old. I'm gonna give it a 6. I can't give it anything more than that. But you drop down the comments, besties, and let me know what you thought about this week's episode. Please like the video, like the video, like the video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Subscribe, new. If you're new here, subscribe. If you're returning, like the video and make sure your notification bell is on so that you know each and every time I post my content. Now let's get into it, honey. So the next morning, Jen wakes up, honey. She just slept with her voodoo doll, Jennifer. She's in the bed with her. She calls Ryan and asks, has he heard about Tamara on Instagram? Yes, of course he has. The captions all over social media are saying Tamara quits after shouting match with Gretchen. Is she fired after her post on IG? Gretchen is talking to Slade about it. He's like, oh, Tamara quits. Okay, whatever. Katie talks to her husband about it. And Shannon is asking Emily, has Tamara left? Has Tamara really left? Did she really leave? Honey, Shannon wants and needs confirmation because this has happened on other trips where Tamara pretends like she's leaving and she appears again. So Shannon wants that confirmation. So Tamara texts Heather and says she was catching a 4 a.m. flight. So, honey, the ladies head out without Shannon. They're going to the swamp tour to see the alligators. And so they discuss, they discuss Tamara making another post while she was at the airport talking about her mental health. And so Gina's like, hey, if you're going through some mental health challenges, you don't post on Instagram. And so Emily told her, oh, no, no, this is what people do now. This is the old lady throws a fit way. This is how you do it. You go on Instagram and have your fit there. Well, Heather feels like Tamara was being selfish for leaving. And she said, it's not fair because, Heather and Emily, they take up for her. And they're like, why are we doing all this and you just gonna bounce on us like this? So Gina says, she called the journalist that talked to Kiki Monique and she verified what Tamara said was true. And Katie is lying. We know, like, you didn't even have to call. Katie is a liar. From the first episode when y'all was sitting at the table, where were they at? And they was like, they was at the retreat, Shannon's retreat. And they was like, dig up the messages. Oh, My phone, I don't have good reception. This is an iPhone 1, and I can't, this is analog, and I'm an analog girl, and I can't pull up the messages. We knew she was lying from then. So, baby, here comes Shannon 10 minutes later, honey. She is on the way to the boat. She is trying to put on lashes. She looking for lash glue. Who in their right mind is going to apply lashes with some lash glue in a car? How is that? Girl, Shannon, you of all people, no. Mm-mm. No. Okay. So, child, she shows up 10 minutes late to the swamp tour. Gina is flipping out. And it's like, girl, 10 minutes. I get, and I understand there are people who don't like when you're late. I get that. I could be one of them. But 10 minutes is really not a big deal. It's not like y'all was on the swamp and had to turn around and come and get her. Y'all were sitting down waiting on her. She was right behind you, right? So Gina is having her little crash out, honey. She's like, I'm trying to face my fears on this boat with these alligators, and you're coming in here late and you're raising my anxiety up because you're late, and then you're in here asking for sunscreen. It's like, Shannon, and you're frustrating me. Okay. Okay, girl, calm down, Gina. And she's trying to remain calm. Shannon says she feels bad, but she had an anxiety attack like an hour ago. And she said this has been happening since her DUI. And so she's like, I'm just shocked that Shannon sat so close to Katie because, she is making a point not to be near her, not to go with her. But on that road, I guess she didn't have a choice since she was late. But baby, it was like Katie, Jen, and her. And she did not complain about sitting that close to Katie. I was really shocked. But she all full of her own stuff. But Shannon looks for her moments. Let's not pretend. So the ladies are thugging it out on this swamp tour. They see a few alligators, and they're not as big as Katie would want them to be. And I remember when I went on a few swamp tours, they're never going to be like huge alligators. You don't want to be out there with huge alligators that are as big as the boat. Yes, you want to be with the babies. But I didn't see them feed the alligators. We got to feed our alligators. I remember we fed them raw chicken and marshmallows. So they probably didn't, maybe they edited that part out. It wasn't no big deal. But they thugged it out. Everyone survived. Whew. Okay. They also learned that the daddy alligators are the deadbeats. And so, was that Emily? Yeah, because she's always throwing shade. And she was like, ooh, Tamara can call Slade an alligator now instead of a deadbeat. So, how they do it, when the deadbeats, get the mom pregnant, he bounces, he gone. And the mom protects her gator nest with her life. But the daddy, gone, off, bye, gone. So Gina and all the ladies survived the boat ride, honey. Child. And Emily calls and checks on Shane, this back at the hotel, to see if he took Luke to his appointment. So Luke has been diagnosed with RFID. Yeah, RFID, but they want to do further testing. Shane is holding it down at the house, and Emily is trying to fight her mom guilt. I feel so guilty. I'm here with you ladies, and my son is at home, and he might need me, and he keeps calling my cell phone. So then the ladies head to the Bourbon House for oysters. Heather and Emily are having a little back and forth and back again, but it's tame. It's not like a big crash out. And so Gina's over there choking on her oyster, gagging, can't breathe. And Heather is asking her 100,000 questions. Are you okay? Can you breathe? Did you choke on an oyster? Are you sure? What kind of oyster was it? Did you put hot sauce on it? Did he give it to you? How many have you eaten? It's like, girl, call 911. So Heather ends her back and forth and back again with Emily by telling her, just stop making fun of me. Emily's like, bet, cool. So then they go to their dinner reservation, and Heather asks anyone, have they heard from Tamara? And so I'm thinking, Heather, we know you've talked to her. Y'all the closest in the bunch. Get it together. But later on, I find out that I was wrong. But let's move on. Gina says, nope, not since the last night when, nope. But she says she has talked to the journalist. And the journalist said that Kiki, Monique, and Katie did go to lunch. And 7 minutes in, Katie brought up the naked, wasted night. Uh-huh. We know Katie be lying. Mia be lying. Katie be lying. And so this is the night where, Gretchen suspected that she had been roofied at Tamra's. And now she's saying that she went to the hospital. Clock that T. Okay, Katie says, but that didn't happen. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. Now, see what you have to understand, besties. When you're lying, you have to be repetitive, right? When you tell the truth, you only gonna say it once because you don't have the energy for it. You have nothing to prove. I said what I said. But when you lie, it's that didn't happen. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. Gina's like, well, he's a credible journalist. Gretchen is like, he never reached out to me. Why are we talking about it? So right there, I clocked it. Gretchen is a part of this. Why does anyone need to reach out to? Were there even podcasters back in 2012 or 13 when this happened? I don't think so. Well, maybe I don't know. It wasn't popular though. So why would he reach out to you? Who cares? No one cares, Gretchen. Whew. So Jenna's like, well, if you don't care, I mean, you gonna let her just lie on you? Gretchen's like, look, of course I care. I do, but she said it didn't happen, and nobody is showing me actual proof. Uh, huh? Oh, so she's saying if the bloggers and them ain't called her, it didn't happen because ain't nobody called to say nothing. So Katie stands by what she says. They want Katie to call Kiki Monique right now. Call her right now and straighten it out. We gonna do this again, right, y'all? Y'all really think Katie gonna do that? So Katie tells Jen that she told her the whole story. I told you the whole story. And Jen is like, huh? What'd you say? Wait, what happened? What's the when? Was I there? So Katie tells us that she and her husband, Jen and Ryan and Gretchen and Slade went to Maestro. We say Maestros, but they were saying Maestros. Child, that's one of my favorite restaurants. I'm gonna say Maestros. They went to Maestros. Honey, did you get that lobster bisque, honey? Oh my goodness, those crab cakes, those lamb chops. Oh my gosh, the lobster mac and cheese. OMG. And let's not talk about the cream spinach. Mm-mm-mm. Me and my bestie, we just went in May for her birthday. We had a time. Okay, back to them. Enough about me. So Jen is like, Gretchen says she was really sick from the drinks. So Gretchen never said she got roofied. Well, who said it then? Katie says they found illegal substances in her system. I'm like, whoa. So Gretchen begins to say, each of you keep talking about Katie to make me not like her. Gina says, well, she did the same thing about Tamra. Gretchen says Katie has never done anything to her, but Tamara has hurt everyone at this table. I was like, okay, clock that T. And I'm like, okay, Gretchen, you are guilty is your name. Guilty Gretchen. Gretchen is in on this because she's talking too much. I'll just say that she's talking a tad bit too much to be innocent, right? Okay, so Heather says they are all scared to see what's going to happen next. Child, I'm not. Bring it on, cause baby, we gonna spend the whole season with this. Like last season, we had to hear Tamara calling Shannon a drunk and an alcoholic all season. So the ladies leave New Orleans. They're back in the OC. Tamara goes to see her therapist. She's been super anxious, fighting with Eddie, having anxiety, panic attacks. Sounds like he's been having to hold her down, to calm her down, to keep a grip on her, you know. And so she went up to Big Bear where they have another house because she wanted to isolate herself. Then she told the therapist about the confrontations with Gretchen. The therapist asked, "Well, what was your intention?" Tamara was like, "Well, I wanted to believe her, but everyone started yelling at me, so I left." I said she left the table, she left the room, she left the floor they were on, she left the restaurant, she left the hotel, she left the airport, she left the city of New Orleans, honey. She left. She admitted to checking on Teddy before she went to dinner, and that kind of made her a little off balance, you know. So she said, clock this, she popped half a Xanax and had two drinks. Tamara, you should have just went to bed. You were doomed from the start. You were doomed from the start. And then she said that she don't remember much after that. I said, well, girl, thank God we have it on camera. Because, baby, run the tape back production since she don't remember nothing. So the therapist says things need to change because a different you comes out when you get to drinking and all that stuff. And Tamara was like talking about how she was trying to stop drinking. She said, because I scream and I yell, and no one called and checked on me when I left New Orleans. And she said, well, how do you think that made you feel? She said, they don't care about me. And so why do you think that? I'm afraid of rejection and not being liked. And so the therapist is like, well, you have a wounded heart because of your trauma. You have a problem with trust and rejection. Those are part of your pathology, and you need to address it. Tamara tells us that she's afraid of getting close to anyone because they'll just leave her. And that stems from her daddy leaving her mother when she was young, and even her own daughter experiencing that as an adult. And she said, in this friend group, I just don't know where I fit in. And it's like, Tamara, you just get in the friend group and be your true, authentic self. You don't have to try and overcompensate for anything. Just be yourself. You done got so carried away, you don't even know who yourself is. Like, you really do. I'm glad Tamara is in therapy, and maybe this therapist can unfold some things for her and give her the tools she needs because she is a train wreck. She really is. So Emily is at home navigating home life with her family. Luke called her a lot while she was in New Orleans, and so she feels that he's in a crisis. And Shane is like, Shane was productive when she was gone, but he feels like he's acting like a baby with hugging on her for a long time, and he wants to get attention. Like some of this, he's playing on his circumstances, right? And I believe him because kids do that. But as a mother, you just want your child to be normal and functional and have a normal life, whatever normal means these days, right? But she says, she doesn't think she says he just doesn't think and he doesn't function like the other kids, and that's what really hurts Emily to her core. And he's like, well, you think you have to cry. I don't have to cry to be considerate of this issue. He said, I can smile and I can help him and still be positive. And so it's clear that they care about their sons differently. They just handling it differently. Um, Shane is trying to set him up, for survival, and Emily just wants to coddle him and hug him and love on him. He tells Emily that she's making this situation more stressful than it needs to be. Because she is just there crying. She is just crying. So she wants Shane to be more assuring to her. He's not saying the things she needs to hear, like, baby, we got this, we're gonna be okay. You're doing good. And so Shane, he's just not that guy. Shane is the, you know, sarcastic one. But he seemed to be, he's not as sarcastic anymore. But Shane, sir, she needs to hear you say, babe, we got this. We gonna be all right. That baby gonna be okay. Stop worrying yourself. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna do this every day. We're gonna, and too bad he's not gonna tell her that. And so she's just sad and crying because Luke has this disadvantage of being normal. And at the end of the day, they just don't know how to parent him. They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure it out differently, and that's the problem. They just got to get on the same page and kind of just be balanced. They have to. It has to be a balance of Emily and a balance of Shane. You know, but they're gonna figure this out. So Tamara meets up with Heather. Heather sits down and was like, "What happened? Get to it, Heather. What happened?" So she said, Tamara says, Gretchen is the queen of denial. You know, do you tell Katie that you went to the hospital? Did you tell Katie that you went to the hospital? Huh? Maybe she meant to say, did she tell Katie that she went to the hospital? Sorry, besties. It was late. I'm just writing. I don't know what. Okay. So it's like, did Katie tell you that Gretchen went to the hospital? Maybe that's was the question. So flashback, it shows Gretchen saying she did go to the hospital. No, she said no. Okay, all right. Flashback. They had two flashbacks. They had one part where Gretchen said she did go to the hospital, and then there was another clip that she said she should have gone to the hospital. So now it's like, okay, Gretchen be lying now. And that is what triggers Tamara because she's the queen of denial. So Tamara admits to taking a Xanax. I'm like, girl, that's what they said, honey. They said you was on that Xanny. She tells Heather she didn't hear from her. Heather said, no way, boo boo. I called you on FaceTime and you hung up on me. Then I text you, are you okay? Where are you? No response. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She said, but 3 days later, Tamara, you on social media, you're taking interviews and you're talking about it on podcasts, but you did all that before you responded to me, your friend. How do you think that made me feel? Tamara says she was in a bad place. And are you trying to make me look like a bad person? And she's like, sorry, Heather. I'm just not trying to make you feel comfortable with this. I'm like, ooh, are y'all about to fight at the table? So Heather's like, I just feel like I'm not important to you. Ooh, Tamara's like, you know what? My best friend has brain cancer. And then Heather was like, you know what? You're right. I'm my bad. I feel sad. But Heather tells us she feels unheard by Tamara, so she'll just table this conversation because Tamara is not going to hear what Heather is trying to tell her because she got Teddy on the brain, which is fine. So Heather, very good Heather. She offers her support to Tamara. I wish a lot of people would just do things this way. You got your say. You said what you had to say if she's not on that. She got bigger fish to fry, Heather. And I like that you said, let me put a pin in it because she doesn't hear me right now. And then she offers her support. And I'm glad that Tamara was like, hey, my friend has brain cancer. Because back then, we didn't know if Teddy was going to survive this or not. So then, child, Jen, Emily, and Gretchen meet at a bar. And Katie is at home talking to her husband about all this mess. So we're going to go back from these two frames until the end of the show. So he says, what's his name? Matt says that, you didn't make any of this up. You didn't make nothing up. And that's that on that. And that's that on that. That's how Matt was like, forget them. Katie felt that Gretchen threw her under the bus. Hmm. She could have, said that she felt Tamra had spiked her drink. That's all she had to say. And I was like, what you think she spiked it with, a Xanax? Because that's what Tamra be on. And Jen, she feels like Jen now is protecting Gretchen because she acts like she don't know what y'all talking about. And so she said, I see you, Jen. I see what you're doing there. And so Katie wants Gretchen to speak up. Like, say something, Gretchen. Speak up. And see, this is why you should not try to create an alliance, Katie. You tried to get Jen and Gretchen on board to throw Tamara under the bus, and they all acting like they don't know what's going on. They're protecting themselves, and you want people to speak up for you because you're lying. But y'all all lying. So what's going to happen now? All of you guys are going to throw each other under the bus, like I said at the top of this show, honey. So Katie says that she did text Kiki Monique and asked her to clear this up on camera. There was no response. Very good, Kiki Monique. Don't get in this mess. Don't get in this mess. Then she says if she calls her, she's going to lie. Because all of you guys are lying at this point. Gretchen feels uneasy about all this because you're lying and now you're about to be exposed. That's why you're feeling uneasy, Gretchen. Katie says Gretchen and Slade are making this story up. Yeah, okay. Okay. And then she asked the producer, no, the producer asked her, is she protecting Gretchen now? Or saying what really happened? Because what really happened, Katie? What happened? Katie then says that Slade called Matt after all this mess came out and told him to tell her to say Gretchen never said it. And it means Gretchen never said that Tamara spiked her drink. But where would it come from? Because Katie or Jen, neither one of them was around the OCs 12, 13 years ago. Child, hold the line and protect Gretchen, is what Slade told them. Hold the line and protect Gretchen. What? So let me get this clear. Y'all went out to eat to my favorite restaurant and y'all talked about Tamara and y'all was just swapping Tamara stories or listening to Tamara stories. No swapping because Jen was mad at Tamara about the FBI and all that. See, that's why you can't you can't be gossiping with the wrong people. Mm-hmm. Now, Katie is exhausted from all this covering up for Gretchen, Slade, and Jen. Yeah, girl, you got yourself in a mess. You ain't cut out for this because she knows the truth and no one's saying nothing. Well, we don't believe you, Katie, because even if you tell the truth, it's going to seem like a lie because all you do is lie. Now, Gretchen wants to get to the bottom of it, honey. And, honey, she wants to call Kiki herself. I said, whoa, this is gonna be good. Okay, next week it gotta be amped up. It's gonna be good. This is gonna be good. Come on, y'all. Get Kiki involved. Call Kiki. Call her. Call her. They should have never said who she was. They should have left Kiki's name anonymous. And honey, now it's about to come full circle. It's about to go down. I think now OC is getting ready to pipe up. It's about to get good. Put your seatbelts on, besties. And that was the end of the episode, besties. Don't forget to drop down in the comments and let me know what you thought about this week's episode. Please like my video if you're here. If you're new, subscribe to my channel and make sure your notification bell is on, besties. And I'll be back with another recap. Life after lockup, honey. All right. Bye, besties.